Hello again, it's Sam Buban. Welcome to the fifth episode of Joseph Buban's YouTube channel, Meet the Candidates. With me today to join us in a conversation is Jessica Goodey. She's running for Las Vegas Justice Court, Department 6. Yeah. Thank you for coming, Jessica, to join us in this program.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's our pleasure too. And before we go into a discussion with Jessica, let me explain to our Filipino audience, especially, most of you are immigrants and had really lived in the Philippines for most part of your lives. And it's hard to understand why judges here in the United States are actually being elected. Now, let me clear that state judges or local judges are the ones that are getting elected, uh, and Jessica will explain it that it's why so. And compared to in the Philippines, judges are appointed by the Philippine Supreme Court. And it's because it's similar to the federal judges. The federal judges are appointed by the President of the United States with the concurrence of the US Senate. So, Jessica, uh, tell our viewers what does Department 6 court usually do? What kinds of cases normally ends up at Department 6?
Sure. So I'll answer that two ways. And first, I'll
Okay.
start with what Las Vegas Justice Court does as a
Please do
whole.
explain, yeah.
So Las Vegas Justice Court is our lower level court, meaning it's where all criminal cases start, or most of them. It also handles our lower level civil cases, so cases for money up to $15,000. It also handles all of our traffic tickets and all of our evictions. So that's what Las Vegas Justice Court as a whole does. Department 6 is currently a civil law department. It's one of two. So it currently is handling cases for money up to $15,000. That could be anything from a car accident, a breach of contract, a landlord-tenant dispute,
Yes.
or your neighbor's tree falls into your backyard.
Okay.
Something like that. There is a chance that it changes to a criminal law department,
Mhm.
and the criminal law could be battery, domestic violence, anything from stealing a candy bar all the way up to a murder case. So it
Okay.
really kind of ranges very broadly what we handle.
Yes. All right. Is this a newly created branch or like an extension or an expansion?
No, this so Department 6 has been here for a while.
Okay.
We do have a new department in our Justice Court. It's Department 16. And what happens, the way we get new departments in our Justice Court is based on our population growth. And so once we grow our population to an additional 100,001 people, we are entitled to a new Justice Court to handle the new cases that go
Okay.
along with that.
That's to help with the load.
Yeah.
Expected load of cases.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
All right. Now, share with our viewers your legal experiences that makes you qualified to run for this position.
Sure. So I have been an attorney for 12 years, 9 of those running my own practice. And I have practiced in all areas of civil law. I've practiced in business litigation, personal injury, landlord-tenant, breaches of contract, pretty much everything. Well, I've even done some bankruptcy work, some family work. I've done a couple of criminal cases as well. So on the civil side, I am the most qualified candidate in this race, having 12 years handling all the types of cases as an attorney that I would be handling as a judge. And I'll tell you in a second why I decided to run for this department.
Okay.
But even with that story in mind, I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be a judge. It's something that I kind of knew I wanted to do at some point down the road. But I wanted to make sure that I had the right experience. And so I got appointed to serve as a court-appointed arbitrator.
Okay.
So I serve as a quasi-judge
Mhm.
on civil cases up to $50,000. So I'm already handling cases bigger than what I would be handling at in the justice court. I also knew that I would need some criminal law experience, and
Okay.
so I have been appointed to serve as an alternate judge or a substitute judge
Uh-huh.
in our Las Vegas Municipal Court and our Justice Court. So I have already been deciding criminal cases. I have been presiding over criminal cases. So I'm the only candidate in this race who has judicial experience in both civil and criminal cases. Because I think it's important that our judges are qualified, that
Yes.
we are ready to hit the ground running on day one, not, learning as we go and trying to figure it out when we take the bench. We should be ready to go on day one.
Right. So it appears really, your qualification just and eligibility just fits in your experience. Let me ask this: are there changes for the better that you're thinking of doing or implementing once you are the judge at branch or at Department 6?
So a couple of things, and I can't fully answer that until I take
Yes.
the bench and really kind of see what changes need to be
I
made.
can understand.
But I will tell you, and so the reason I decided to run for this specific department is I did a trial in this department in August of 2020. We had been litigating a year already. We finally get to trial, and it was 3 hours from start to finish. The plaintiff testified and the defendant testified, and the judge tells us she'll get us an answer shortly. That turned into 6 months.
Oh.
6 months of my client waiting on the judge to do her job.
Oh no.
And so that's the change. That's the immediate change, is I want to make sure our courts are working fairly and efficiently. We say in the legal field all the time, justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes.
These are people's lives on hold.
That's right. So, I want to explain to the Filipino American voters, especially here in Clark County, that it is important that we also vote for the judges, not just like U.S. Senator all the way to Congressman, because they play a good part of how our court system will look like. It's the desire to have a justice for all kind of approach to our judicial system, and we have many qualified and able candidates that they need your confirmation, or what do you call that, your mandate. So again, Jessica, thank you for joining us, and it's so refreshing that we're able to educate Filipino Americans about our election, and that includes our judicial system in this country, especially what involves is our local community. So we'll see you next time. And Jessica, last word for you, from you.
Well, so, and I'll just kind of pick up where you left off. These judicial races are incredibly important. Yes, our Senate race is important. Yes, our congressional races, and even the Assembly and the Senate, state Senate and Assembly are important. But our judges, if you're going to come into contact with an elected official, it's probably going to be your justice court judge. And you need somebody on there who has business experience, who has experience representing clients and holding clients' hands through some of the worst days of their life. You need to know that the person on the bench is qualified, but you also need to know that they're a good person, that they're somebody you trust to make life-changing decisions for you, because any case that comes before court is going to have an impact, a huge impact on your life. We really do need to be very, very smart about our judges. And I know it's very difficult for voters. It's very, very difficult for voters to get information about these different races. And then by the time you get to the bottom of the ballot, because we're the last races on your ballot, you're tired and you just want to be done, especially if you have to stand in line waiting to vote. So what I always tell people to do is start at the bottom and work your way up. It's a little
That's
bit
a good
easier that
advice
way.
there, you know. Start from the bottom, work your way up. That way you wouldn't miss, the opportunity to make your vote count, right? There are only less than third. What is it now? It's less than
25
7
days?
weeks. It's like 7 weeks before the general election. But remember, early voting starts on October 24th, I believe.
22nd.
So, it's
Sooner
October
than that.
22nd. So exercise your right to vote, and it's not only your right, but it's also a privilege. So, and again, good luck to your race, Jessica.
Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.